Raised by Demons, a true and accurate autobiography. Well, sort of. Part 5. A great noise, as if a multitude of groans, wails, and outcries mingled into one cascading fall's roar, distracted Croaker and Snuffer, both of whom moved to their left to investigate the clamor. Once out on a promontory, the sight made them grasp one another. A torrential rush of bodies like a river, except instead of flowing down, the rapids went up, making a bend and disappearing into an overhead crevasse. After watching the river, the two went back to the part of the cavern where they'd been before. "What were those?" Croaker asked the sublord. "So many!" "Who knows?" Sublord Chance Medley answered. "Wars, earthquakes, famines, plagues, no telling. It's called Rio de la Muerta, or River of Death. It passes this way continually, sometimes a trickle, sometimes a flood, but nothing worth interrupting our discussion. You were saying, Snatcher?"
"Snuffer, cantankerous one," Snuffer apologized. "And forgive me as I forgot what I was saying. Oh, yes, I was saying we are forbidden from doing any permanent harm to our subject. What's to prevent us from persuading our target to do what we want of his own free will?" "Well, then, you see my meaning. Of course you do. See how simple?"
"No, you rumbling, mush-mouthed dregs. Why can't either one of you two get to the point for once and speak clearly? I guess I'll have to do so for you. From the few sensible scraps of your long-winded diatribe, you intend to assist this threat of ours to end his own life on his own free will. Am I correct?"
"Precisely, Mega Monster," Snuffer injected.
"But it's my understanding such methods have been tried already with no success. Is that not correct?"
"Correct, horrid one. But I propose Croaker and I be given permission to offer more effective methods person to person, from a more experienced standpoint."
"Aha!" Sublord Chance Medley cried. "Now we're getting somewhere."
"Nothing in the decree from above forbids our suggesting methods of self-elimination, Master of Calamity," Snuffer added. "As you may know, in my former life, I was a very successful attorney."
"I should have known," Sublord Chance Medley commented in a dry monotone. "Other than academics, there's practically no other occupation represented in this place."
"Yes, well, be that as it may, O dealer of misery, I've read the decree from above thoroughly, and there is no clear indication of what the meaning of the word is in the document. Therefore, from that I assume we are forbidden to interfere directly, but not indirectly. Perhaps the fault was an editorial oversight, or a typo, or an act of carelessness, but the fact remains the edict from on high fails to specify. As a seasoned attorney in such matters, I've learned to develop a legal eye for the most insignificant errors in documents, if you will, so my clients do not have to live up to the contracts they agreed to."
"Yes, quite so. I also used schemers of similar low standards to swindle clients in my former days as well," the sublord admitted. "Did quite well, too, although I must say I never realized the price I would have to pay later on."
"Yes, don't we all? How true, old churlish one," Snuffer conceded. "But just think of the acclaim such a victory would win for you, to finally have vanquished the dreaded one from above at one of his own ventures. Why, you would be the recipient of no end of awards and honors, and be greatest of all."
"Yes, I would, wouldn't I? Not bad, Sniffles. Not bad at all."
"Snuffer, if you please, surliest of all."
Yes, yeah, whatever. Sublord Chance Medley lost some of its bluster. I see now, yes, that's quite an interesting proposition. Such a claim would gain me status as has never been seen before. You're quite right. Are you in prognostics as well?
No, your viciousness. I'm in disheartenment.
Sounds interesting. What work do you do there, Dragoon?
Ooh, in disheartenment, Snuffer returned, his voice tempo picking up as if finding heightened interest. We specialize in discouragement, dream wrecking in layman's terms. It's really quite interesting work. As for myself, I acquired the skill of pretending sympathy to gain a victim's confidence and induce trust so that...
Enough! Sublord Chance Medley snapped. What gave you the idea I wanted to pursue a doctorate on the subject? Actually, I could care less.
1,000 pardons, dispenser of all misery. I got carried away.
Don't do it again, the sublord scolded. So I'm curious, how is this so-called protected one fated to attack our domain and possibly hinder or set back our progress? In what fashion is the assault to be carried out? Another prophet of doom to terrify the populace, or a fire and brimstone evangelist swaying the multitudes, I suppose?
Oh, no, nothing so conventional, your vindictiveness. This time it's a writer.
A what?
A storyteller, master of misery, or a novelist, I might call him.
Oh, come off it, Dragoon. Pshaw, Sublord Chance Medley spat. You had my hopes up for once. How ridiculous. Absurd beyond reason. No one reads anymore. Don't you know that? It's yesteryear stuff. Who cares for wisdom these days? No one. Today it's all about visual, movies, television, electronics. Books are fossils from a prehistoric age. What's the matter with you? The purveyors of knowledge today are bodiless heads and non-corporeal cartoons. The written word is hieroglyphics.
True, fiercest of the fierce, but what is the source of the visual media you just mentioned?
What kind of stupid question is that?
The origin, dealer of all tragedies. What one supplier empowers the bodiless heads and non-corporeal cartoon images you just mentioned, without which none of the animation exists.
Oh, the on and off switch. What's so hard about that?
Close, megalomania marvel, but prior to the on and off switch.
The wall outlet. So what?
Ah, but what if the wall outlet has no spark? Suppose all wall plugs go dead. It'll be the Dark Ages again, and society returns to candlelight and kerosene. Not long ago, that was the case, and still is in third world countries. No house lights, no street lights, no lighted cities. When the sun goes down, all is dark, but for the pale light of a full moon.
Impossible. Never happened.
Oh, no? Knower of all dark secrets? Snuffer questioned. What about a well-placed nuclear bomb or two in the stratosphere to obliterate the grid? Or else an asteroid similar in size to the Chicxulub impactor that wiped out 3/4 of the Earth's species, including dinosaurs? Or else an enemy's well-orchestrated cyber attack? Even a large enough sun disturbance could cast the world into darkness. Who knows which of those, great fallen one?
No electricity, huh? Sublord Chance Medley ruminated. Oh, but you forget about natural gas and oil.
Useless without the grid, great garroter, except to make fires.
Yeah, well then batteries, the sublord offered half-heartedly. Until, that is, the charge ran out, of course. And whatever freak event destroyed the power grid would likely block the sun, resulting in another ice age. Nothing grows, no water flows, as it's all frozen, along with the wind turbines.
After that, maker of miseries, Snuffer picked up his line of thought, Refrigerators will be useful only as insulated cabinets. Air conditioners come outdoor workbenches. Water heaters become indoor cisterns. Dishwashers serve as under-counter storage, and battery rechargers turn into paperweights. Wall outlets will be good for hanging very low pictures only. All electrical power gone, finished, kaput, DOA, sayonara. The world reverts to centuries prior.
Novel idea, Driggs, Sublord Chance Medley hurrahed. A little bit of science fiction hyperbole, perhaps. But yes, I see what you mean. I suppose under the ideal set of calamities, people will have no other choice but to exist without electrical power. It all depends on whatever disaster would return them to the Dark Ages, and they end up reading by candlelight a la Abraham Lincoln. Who knows? People might actually regain knowledge and common sense again. Ye gads, what an awful thought. We'll have to double down on our efforts to censor unapproved material. He chuckled. My intent exactly, fiercest of the fierce. Croker thrust himself into the discussion with a triumphant outcry. He motioned for Snuffer to step back a bit. The idea was mine, not his. Snuffer was merely my front man in case of your displeasure. Had you disapproved of the idea, I would have disavowed all knowledge, but your enthusiasm compels me to admit that the credit belongs to me, not him. It was my idea. Snuffer may be passable at embittering an idealist or two and discouraging a few romances, but he is quite inadequate as far as my area of expertise. I am a Renaissance man wonder. If what you want is prime, top-grade quality intellect, I'm your man. Except for being concise, you mean, Sublord Chance Medley snorted in a dismissive snicker. He waved aside the other's claim and addressed Snuffer. Step in closer, my good man. Don't ever recede into the background without my permission, despite what this blowhard says. Now, as to this predicted dangerous target, this rider or whoever, Snicker.
Snuffer, your vileness.
Yes. As I was saying, Snacker, this protected rider who is called
Henry, your wickedness, Snuffer supplied.
Yes, this Henry, who is destined to do us harm unless stopped. So you say you've determined to torment and vex him until he voluntarily shortens his life. He's our target. Have I got that right?
Precisely, evilest of evil.
You are aware, Snicker, or whatever, he must decide of his own free will, as we are forbidden an intentional execution. No fatal car accidents, no random madman stabbing, no accidental shooting cleaning his gun, nothing of that sort. Unless he is clearly killed by his own hand, it's the abyss for you two.
The abyss! Croker and Snuffer gasped as one. Surely not. Anything but the abyss.
The abyss. I hope you don't expect me to accept any responsibility. You two are on your own. If you fail, I never knew you.
But, they stammered in stereo.
Contradicting such an edict from above, Sublord Chance Medley went on, would mean premature banishment to the pit of horrors. You may torment your victim to your heart's content, but not one step further. He must choose to end his life of his own free will. If any fatal so-called accident should befall him, say he forgets to fasten his bungee cord, or while climbing a tree knocks aside a killer beehive, or mistakenly water skis into a school of piranhas, any mishap at all, you may each expect everlasting torture in the citadel of terrors.
Not that, merciless one, Croaker cried in a most pitiful wail. Surely you wouldn't, cruel heart.
Oh, yes, I would, the sublord warned. I'll have you wedged into a furnace vent hole upside down.
In which case, Sliced of all, Croaker whimpered in a crawfishing whine, perhaps we better not.
Coward, Sublord Chance Medley cut him off. Gutless, belly-aching, quizzling. You better not back out, or you'll get worse. Buck up and show some courage, or I'll consider this an attempt to deny me my rightful notoriety. Fortitude, that's what's required, and we abide no sniveling weaklings in this realm.
Don't worry, we'll succeed, Snuffer intruded. Your malevolency will have his acclaim. My partner here suffered a momentary spell of weakening in the knees. However, I'm resolved to win this fight, and you shall have your medals, ribbons, trophies, and what all, to your heart's content.
What? Croaker gasped at the other. Have you lost your mind?
Have no worries, heartless one, Snuffer interrupted him. Pardon the momentary falter of my partner. All of us fear the pit of horrors, but the prospect of going there early should only spur us on to do as much harm as possible before that day of reckoning arrives.
Very good, Swacker, Sublord Chance Medley lauded him. It's a small price to pay for my having a chance to have my hour of triumph, is it not?
Oh, don't listen to him, Mortality Monarch, Croaker cried, sounding close to tears. Forget my claiming credit earlier. Pardon my boasting. It's a fault of mine, an awful shortcoming I despise myself for. I'm a braggart and a show-off, if you will. This entire scheme is Snuffer's doing, not mine. Really, I had no idea. Forgive my earlier crowing. He's the one who deserves all the credit, and, by the way, the consequences also.
Too late, Sublord Chance Medley chuckled. You and Sniffy are in this together, and you better succeed.
But steel-hearted one, that's before I knew about the abyss, Croaker wept. If Snuffer is so gung-ho, let him go it alone. I want no part of this harebrained scheme. He's the one who convinced me to approach you with his half-baked, cockeyed skullduggery.
You dare argue with me? Sublord Chance Medley roared, raising the mallet. Begone now!
It was common knowledge in that part of the realm that to debate the sublord ended very badly. The two then scurried away, headed for the one entrance exit to that domain on whatever planet in whatever universe. Once outside, they turned and looked back. Both agreed. They left the infernal region without the slightest shred of fondness. To be continued. For a continuation of Raised by Demons, plus books, plus free short stories, plus videos, go to thereisageneration.com. All one word, thereisageneration.com.